Good morning, Eagles, and welcome back to the Talon Weekly. I'm your host, Tessa Cheshire.
And I'm your co-host, Jonica Coves. First, let's take a look at the weather with meteorologist David Hale.
Welcome back to Thunder and Hail. I'm your host, David Hale, and this is this week's weather. So, today, it looks like, well, first of all, this past week was freaking insane, guys. We had snow pretty much. We had snow 5 days in a row. Started Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we got hit Thursday once again throughout the night. Now, today on Friday, the high is going to be 43, the low is going to be 27, and the trend we've been seeing of the snow is going to stop here, so it's going to be all sun throughout the whole week. We might see some scattered clouds here and there, but for the most part, the high is going to be in the 40s and low 50s, and the lows are going to be in the 20s and the 30s. Everything's just going to be clear, and the weather isn't really looking, very exciting like it was this past week. But that's it for this week. Sorry, it's a short broadcast. I'm coming live from the Hail-mobile. All right.
Thanks, David. Wednesday night, the school board voted to continue remote learning through the semester, unless Bernalillo County goes green for 2 weeks.
If the county goes green, everybody will be returning to campus. Until then, individual administrators can set up special groupings to come to campus.
At the previous board meeting, Senior Olivia Traub spoke, and she was commended by several board members on Wednesday night.
I have an internship with the APS Government Affairs team through the Career Mentorship course at El Dorado, and my internship this year is with the Government Affairs team, and usually at the board meetings, they have Government Affairs reports, and I was able to be featured in the report. I'm a student intern. I'm not necessarily qualified to give the government report because obviously I don't know as much as my mentors do, but I was just giving a story about my internship and just overall talking about my experience and what I do in that position, and that includes writing a student blog that is wonderful. I love it, and also going to some legislative sessions, both in the House and Senate, specifically House and Senate Ed, to see the bills that are passing through there, and also just staying up to date on any government affairs happening at all, both in the legislature, through APS, through the state. So yeah, just staying up to date on everything, writing everything from the student perspective on my student blog, and just trying to stay as vigilant as possible with all of these affairs. I believe that students are very disconnected from what's happening in the government and the legislature because there's no real motivation for students to be involved. They don't really see how valuable their voice is. So the hope from my blog is to give a variety of student perspectives, break down the situations that are happening at the legislature into really simple terms so that students can understand it very easily and therefore have a voice in all of these things that are happening. So my first blog post was about LESC extension days of the school year. And yesterday, I actually spoke to the legislature about LESC extended hours. And that was super cool, giving public comment on a bill, specifically HB 184. And that was what my first blog post had to do with. And my next blog post is about school reentry and a bunch of student perspectives on that. I feel very impactful and very motivated to keep going. I am a part of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, so I am familiar with a lot of the board members through that council. But outside of that, I think it's just really inspiring to see student leaders in any capacity. And so I don't think it's just me that was inspired them so much, but I just think it was seeing a student so active, especially when board meetings, especially recently, are so difficult and hard to get through, because that's their job. Their job is to advocate for the students and serve their communities the best they can. And so it's definitely comforting to see the people that they are serving actually in these meetings and listening to them. But yeah, seeing the reaction from the board members was super exciting. Very encouraging for all the work that I'm doing, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future. In regards to the decision the board made about school reentry. I'm honestly not surprised. I think overall they are trying to keep as many people as safe as possible because they would rather be safe than sorry. Honestly, it'd be a shame for people to re-enter and outbreaks to happen, teachers to be like infected, and just a lot of negative effects. And obviously, that's the last thing that they would want to encounter. But that still doesn't deny the fact that they are trying hard to serve their communities and do the best that they can. So everyone is frustrated, and I completely understand that. This is just what they saw as the safest solution. And another thing to add is that there are no villains in this situation. I think everyone's perspectives are valuable. The student athletes who want to re-enter and gain college admissions, and students who are struggling with their mental health from remote learning are just as valuable perspectives as students who live with older people or live with health conditions that restrict them from going out in public. You know, everyone's perspective is very valuable. But I think no matter what, the school board was just trying to keep us as safe as possible. And even if our opinions differ, referring to the school board members, I think that I really appreciate their united want to take care of students.
Next, here's a story about the recent weather and how it has impacted school.
On Tuesday, February 16th, there was talk of a snow day even though students are learning online. In mid-October, APS posted an announcement on their website stating there would be no closures or school days during the remote learning, and as long as we are learning in the red, classes will continue on time and as scheduled. The only students' schedules that could be impacted by bad weather are those in the APS Special Ed Red program, and these are students that attend school in small groups, and families will be notified when learning will be moved online. The idea of a snow day on Tuesday was dismissed, and class did continue as per usual, but people were having issues with their internet connections and were unable to attend their classes.
I had several students yesterday, some today, but mostly yesterday, email me letting me know that they weren't going to be able to attend class because they just couldn't they didn't have the bandwidth to attend the meet, but they could check email and they could message with me. And I did have a student get kicked out of one of the quizzes we were doing, one of my freshmen, so because he just lost connection. So that was an issue, yeah.
One student suggested the compromise of asynchronous work, so that way we could still be able to have a mental health day. And here's why that student suggested asynchronous work in place of a snow day.
I think that if anything, they should give us an asynchronous day, so still we're getting our learning in, but then we could still self-pace. Because like if we were in person, we would be able to like have our homework done, and we'd be able to, and if we were in person, we'd be able to like not go to school and just stay at home and have a mental health day. But if they like gave us asynchronous days on snow days, I think it'd be better because like for some people like the Wi-Fi cuts out, or like my parents are working from home now, so now there's more people on the Wi-Fi, and like asynchronous would just, I think, would help, so we could like self-pace and like still take a mental health day but also get our education in.
Some students ended up getting asynchronous work anyways due to internet connection issues.
Yesterday I wasn't able to lead my sixth period at all because I just could not, I couldn't get my meet to run smoothly. So I just had to give them asynchronous work because I couldn't maintain a solid connection.
Despite not getting a snow day during school hours, people still went out after school to take pictures in the snow.
Last weekend was State Senate, which was held online this year.
Previous years, State Senate is where all the senators come from schools from all over New Mexico, and they are put into like one gym, and there's always a bunch of chanting and everyone's super spirited and yelling. And on virtual, that didn't happen. You could not hear people as much, like you can't talk to everyone, and on like online you can't really like chant, and not everyone can have their mics on at the same time. And so that was different. We went into groups so that we could stay with some of our delegates and be in person with like 2 or 3 people. That way we could still have energy and be excited and just view it together so you're not just sitting in front of a computer screen by yourself. We placed in every event, which we've never done before. They have 2 sections, delegates choice and judges choice, and we got like top 3 in all of the categories we entered for. With online, it was quieter, so you could hear everything that the speakers came to talk about, and you were able to be in like the comfort of your own home, and it wasn't as like difficult if you needed to like get some water or like anything that you needed. And this seems like a benefit, but if we were in person, we'd be yelling a lot, and so we'd lose our voices. But at home on the computer, you didn't yell as much, so you don't lose your voice.
At the conference, senior Audrey Dixon was elected as second vice president.
And I ran for the position of second vice president for NMASC. The second vice president oversees community service for student councils, and it also oversees the state project. I'm part of the group Eagle Advocates here, and we focus on like wellness and well-being and all that type of stuff. And so I already kind of had my foot in like the realm of all that stuff, and I thought that would be cool to take it to the state level and work with all of that. And also get more like student councils and more schools involved with it. So that was the main reason why I ran for second vice president. Just like running for a regular officer position, all the schools in New Mexico that are a part of the New Mexico Association of Student Councils vote. And that's basically how you get elected.
Audrey spent months preparing for the conference, and her hard work definitely paid off.
I started the process in probably October with writing your speech and stuff, and also getting all the like letter of recommendations and approvals that you need. Through then, you're just kind of memorizing your speech and practicing all the stuff you need to do. There was a lot of candidates. I was running against 6 candidates, and they're all really amazing. When I won, I was just like, I didn't know how to react really, because it's kind of hard to react over a Zoom platform. So I just kind of looked at my friends that I was with, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that actually happened.
Finally, here's our fun fact of the day with Mustafa Isakzoda.
All right, fun fact of the day. Did you know that Taco Bell tacos were originally 19 cents? And people also called them tacos.
Thanks, Mustafa.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at EHS Talon Weekly.
Thanks for watching, Eagles, and we'll see you next week. Have a happy Friday.